Okay, I've been trying to connect Hytera repeaters to the MMDVM network for a while, and I've been having a lot of problems. I tried using Scott Zimmerman's MMDVM board, the little modem, and the Hytera, when it's in analog mode, when you connect through the 26-pin accessory connector on the back, still messes with the audio. I haven't figured out a way around that yet, and I don't want to open the machines up because they're under warranty, so I decided to commit to making the Hytera DMR Gateway software work, and I have finally got it to work. So the instructions out there are pretty slim, and I had to translate the German site. As you can see, all of this is in German, so had a lot of problems with that. So anyway, I was going to give you a step-by-step on how to make your own, basically, translator for the Hytera repeater into the MMDVM network. Okay, in the last video, or last clip, I had it brought up in Safari. So what I did is I went and opened the site in Chrome, and I'll have this URL on my website on the how-to. So if you come across these videos, there is a corresponding how-to website with the videos embedded in it. Just go to wb4ulk.com, and it'll be there in the blog posts and the how-tos. And you can see here I've already translated it. So if you scroll down now, everything's in English, and it does a pretty good job of translating it, but you don't care about all that. You just want to get the thing running. So right here we'll go to download the Hytera DMR Gateway software. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, Hytera DMR Gateway. We're going to open up the current software. I have not been able to get this to work on Debian or CentOS, even though they have the additional files to add. I never did get it to work, so I'm just going to show you the way that I did it. I just used a Raspberry Pi sitting beside the repeater. The repeater connects to the Raspberry Pi over the network, and then the Raspberry Pi becomes the hotspot for the repeater and goes out to the MMDVM network. You don't need port forwarding or anything fancy like that, so it can be on any site wherever you're at, like if you're behind a hotspot or some kind of router like that that's NATed. So anyway, first thing we're going to do is go get this file right here. Now, of course, I'm not going to download it again because I've already got it 14 times. We're going to download that file, and we're going to unzip that file. We won't need any of the other stuff. That's all we need right there. And then we need to go get, we have to get Debian Jessie from 7 of 2017. That's the only version I could get it to work on. I tried newer versions, and it didn't have a bunch of the libraries, and I had a hard time. When I would get the library loaded, it was just a cascading effect. Then it needed this library, then it needed that library. So I scratched it, and I did, like I said, Jessie 717, and I'll show you that here as well. Okay, so I've found Jessie. I'm going to use 7.5.2017. That's the version I used. It's a 297 meg zip file. Download that, unzip it, use your favorite software to create an ISO on a card just like you would any other Raspberry Pi image. On Linux and on the MacBook, I use Etcher. On the Windows machine, I use Win32 disk image. So either one, but just create your ISO after you zip that. Put that ISO on a card. That would be a how-to for a later date, but there's plenty of information out there about that, how to make ISO images to put on the Raspberry Pi. And I think I'm going to host these two files on my website, so if I can get those up there, I'll have those on the website, on the page, on the how-to, so that way you don't have to go hunting for them. But anyway, that's where they're at now, so if not, at least I'll put this link up there on the website. All right, sorry about the audio if it's a little off. I'm having to use my iPhone over here. What I've done is plug the Raspberry Pi into a monitor and a keyboard because this is Jessie Lite. It's a headless installation. First thing we need to do is get this guy where you're allowed to log in via SSH across the network. First thing we've got to do is get it on the network and get it to allow root access via SSH. So the first thing we do is login is going to be Pi. Password is going to be Raspberry. First thing we're going to do is change the password for root. And change over, make sure we do have root access. Yes, we do. Okay. Now we need to go in and configure SSH to be remotely accessible, and we have to turn it on and we have to allow root access. First thing we'll do is go to Raspi config, and I've got to move the camera. It's not on the screen, but you've got a 1 through 9 menu. We're going to go down to interfacing options, and we're going to go to option 2 for SSH. Would you like to enable SSH server? Yes. Now the SSH server is enabled. Okay, so now we're going to go in and edit our SSH configuration. Do a quick list. And we're going to go into the change directory to SSH in the etc folder. I don't know why I put a slash in front of SSH back there. Anyway, okay. Do a quick ls of that. The one we want is sshd underscore config. So we're going to nano sshd underscore config. And we're going to scroll down to permit root login without password. Anyway, scroll down to where you see permit root login without password. You're going to delete password without, you're going to delete without password and just change that to yes. So we're going to save that, Control X, yes. So now that's saved. So now we're allowed to log in root into the SSH. Okay, I'm going to make mine connect wirelessly with the Wi-Fi. If you plug it straight in, it'll be on the network. I'm going to make mine connect wirelessly. So we're going to go into the etc folder, and then we're going into the WPA supplicant. Do a quick list of that. And what we want is the WPA supplicant.confg configuration file. Nano WPA underscore supplicant .conf file. Alright, so when you first log in, that's all you're going to see. And up there where it says country, that'll be GB for Great Britain. Just change that to US. And then we need to add some lines to it. Okay, so now you can see I've added the network information. Make sure you copy that exactly with those brackets. Put in the SSID of the router that you're connecting to. And notice on the end of SSID there's an @ symbol. I haven't set my keyboard up to a US keyboard layout, so when I hit Shift and the quotes key, I get the @ symbol. On my keyboard it happens to be Shift 2 will give me the quotes. So if you don't know what they are and you don't feel like going and setting the keyboard up, just hold down the Shift key and start hitting buttons till you see the symbol you want. And then you know where it's at. So I'll go fix that, and of course I'll put my password in there, and then we will be on the local network. Okay, one other thing I forgot to mention. With Jesse Light, it comes up in IPv6 only. I don't care about IPv6. I want just plain old IPv4 network addresses so I can find it easily and just go to an IP address. So if you go to the etc folder and nano into sysctl.config, that's sysctl.conf configuration. You can see it right there. That's the path statement to it. Add this line right here, net.ipv6.conf.all.disable_IPv6 equals 1. And now when you reboot and come up, you will have an IPv4 address. Okay, so after rebooting, came back up and did an ifconfig command. If you go down here and look at WLAN 0, you will see that I have an address of 192.168.1.26. That's what I'm going to use to remotely log in with my SSH client. So now we're done over here, and I'm going to swing back across the shop and get back on the laptop. Okay, so now we're back on this side, so I'm going to bring up my trusty terminal. And I've already been there and checked it, so I'm going to hit the up arrow so I don't have to do it again. So I'm going to go into, oh, that's the wrong IP address. 192. So I'm going to connect to 26. And now we are in the Pi. So now what we've got to do is drop our files onto the Pi in the correct directories. So what I've done here is I know I can log into it with my terminal. What I did is I brought up FileZilla. Now if you use Windows, WinSCP is really good for dragging and dropping files onto the remote directories and stuff. So but of course they don't have that for Mac, so I'm using FileZilla. So, you know, put in the host address, username, password, which port, so I'm connected in. So what I'm going to do is go up here and about FileZilla. You have to explicitly tell it what folders and files you have access to on your local side over here. So if you go up to Edit, I'm still on QuickTime Player, there we go. Click Edit, Directory Access Permissions. Add your path statements in here to the folders that you want it to have access to. Okay, so we're going to go to here where we unzip the Hytera DMR Gateway 1.7. You've got two folders here, DMR Gateway and Gateway Hytera MMDVM. All right, we're going to go over here to the Raspberry Pi. This is the file structure on the Pi. We're going to go down here to opt, open that up, and all we're going to do is drag that one over, and then we're going to drag that guy over, and then we're done with that. So now we have the files where we need them on the remote directory. So now we'll go into the actual Pi itself, set everything up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and edit our configuration files right here from the client. So we're in the opt folder, and we're going to go into the DMR Gateway folder, and we want to edit the DMR Gateway.ini file. And I double-clicked it and downloaded it because I'm used to working in the Windows version of this. Well, not FileZilla, but WinSCP. Anyway, I'm going to highlight it, view and edit. It'll bring it up in Text Wrangler. Okay, so we're just going to leave these ports like they are. We're going to make this 127.0.0.1. Right here on the voice, I left mine enabled. It's not going out anywhere. I don't really know how to use it, to be honest with you. You can put 0 to disable it, or you could leave it enabled and go down here, and I'm assuming you could put US right there instead of DE because this was written in Germany, so everything is German. I had to translate all the directions on the internet. Okay, I'm not using XLX for D-Star, so I'm going to disable that. I don't know anything about D-Star, so I won't be able to help you on that one. Let's scroll this down and just bring Brandmeister into the middle of the screen there. Okay, Hytera DMR repeaters can connect directly to Brandmeister, so you would not need this to connect your repeater to Brandmeister. Because to connect to Brandmeister, all you have to do is plug a network cable in the back of the repeater and turn it on, set your ports, and you're ready to go. I am using this as a gateway into my HB Link server so that we can have our own internal server. So I'm just going to name this master. And it is enabled. And then down here, you would put the IP address of the server you are going to connect to and the port that that server is listening on. The talk group rewrite allows you to map talk groups in and out of the repeater or into this server, and I don't have a real good grasp on this yet, but what they have there now is mapping the talk group 9232 to internal talk group 232. I don't know how the ones fit in there. I'm not sure. So, yeah, you could do a little research on that if you want. But I'm not using this for that, and I'm not using either of those talk groups, so it's not affecting me, so I left it alone. If I don't know what it is, I just leave it alone. Go down here and put the password that the server is going to be expecting, and then put your DMR ID in right here. Now, down here is for other networks, because this thing will connect to 4 different networks all at one time. I'm going to go ahead and disable that. That one is already disabled, so the only thing I want enabled is this master right here, because all I'm doing is connecting my Hytera repeater to my master, and then the master is doing all of the routing and the work after that. Okay, so now we're going to go back up to the opt folder, and we're going to go into Gateway Hytera MMDVM. We're going to open that up, and we want to edit this config file right here. So I'm going to view and edit. Now what we want to do in here is go down here and change this add local address to 127.0.0.1, because all of this is running on one Raspberry Pi. Okay, now right here you need to make note of the Hytera repeater port, the audio port, and the RDAC port. Those are going to be important. Haha. Okay, I should stop. Okay, so we're going to scroll down here. We're going to leave those ports like they are. And we're going to scroll down here to sysop ID. Put your email, put your ID in there. You're good to go. And then we're going to save that. Close it. Okay, so now we're in the terminal. We're logged in remotely. First thing we need to do is get the screen command. Well, if you're not working locally on it, you don't need the screen command. That's so you can run multiple things. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open 2 sessions into this guy. So I'm going to open a new tab. Get logged into the right one here. I don't want to mess up the one I've already got running. Okay, so I have 2 instances in here. So first thing we're going to do is run an apt-get update. Don't do an apt-get upgrade. Well, I have not tried it, but if you upgrade, it's going to bring you up to the current version, and that's the one that I was having the issues with, having the libraries I needed. So leave it like it is. It works. Alright, once the upgrade's done, we need to go in and write the permissions on these files so they can execute. So we want to go into DMR Gateway directory. And we want to make the DMR Gateway executable. So we're going to do a chmod 755 DMR Gateway. I'm going to back up one. I'm going to go into the Gateway Hytera. MMDVM. And we're going to make that one executable as well. chmod 755 Gateway Hytera MMDVM. Now, I went through and made sure everything worked before I came back, just to make sure that I was steering you right, so that if I had something wrong, I could go back and correct it. I tested it and it works. So what you'll do is, when you're in the opt directory, the DMR Gateway directory, you want to do a /DMR Gateway space DMR Gateway .ini. What that is telling it to do, execute DMR Gateway and look for your configuration in this INI file. You put that all in the same line. Now when you hit return, you see it's running. Let's say it's waiting for MMDVM to connect. Okay, so that's good. It's sitting there ready. So now we're going to go up to our other tab. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go into the opt directory and go into the GW Hytera MMDVM directory. And what we want to type in there to execute it is /GW Hytera MMDVM. That's all. You don't have to specify the configuration file. And when you hit enter, it tells you all the ports and everything and what it's listening on and all that good stuff, and it's ready to go. Now, right now our gateway's up and running. So she's sitting there all ready to go. So now what we'll do is I'll bring up the configuration for the Hytera repeater, and I will show you the configuration in there to make it connect to it. Okay, so now I'm in Windows 10. I'm just running Parallels on my MacBook. We're going to go into the customer programming software for the repeater. I'm running version 805 on this repeater. I've got one of the new i9, 9 dot whatever o. That one works perfectly fine with Hytera, with Brandmeister. So I'm assuming it's going to work well with this bridge. I'm going to try it, and if there are any differences, I'll post them. But everything should be just fine. So now I'm going to read the repeater. Okay, so we've got our code plug downloaded. So we're going to go into our settings here. I can't remember where network is. There we go. Remember I said to keep track of those ports, those port numbers? This is where we're going to do that. So I've got my repeater set to DHCP. I've got the DNS server set to Google. I don't think it really matters because I'm not resolving names. We're going to set the repeater to slave, jitter buffer 8. Now, if you've ever set a Hytera up on Brandmeister, you know you need to delete the password, save the configuration file, then open it back up and delete it again. I don't know why that is, but that's how it works. Right here, these are where you're going to put your ports in. 62005 are your first two. Voice and data are 62006, and your RDAC port is 62007. Then right here is where you're going to point it at the server that you want to connect to. Now, I have mine running on a server already here in the shop, so I'm going to change that IP address, and I'll roll over here again and look. I don't trust my memory. So you set all those settings there. And that's it. Don't worry about any of the other stuff down here. That's all you got to do right there. That'll connect you into your master. All right. So I'm going to go into my channel. And it doesn't really matter about the regular slot operation. The biggest thing is digital IP multi-site connect. Make sure you've got both slots enabled. I'm using color code 1. This repeater's on a test bench with a dummy load. So since I don't have duplexers on it, I've just got my receive at 143 and my transmit at 149. It's doing 1 watt into a duplexer inside of a metal building. So if somebody gets excited about that, they can just get over it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to put contact names or any of that stuff in there. You just got to get the channel active. The rest of it you should know. If you own a Hytera repeater, you know how to set the repeater up for operation. So I'm not going to go into all of that. But that's all you need to do. Just set your channel, and those are your network settings right there. That's all you got to do. So with that, we'll go to the repeater and make sure it's logging in. So now we've got those changes made in the repeater. We have both sides set up, DMR Gateway and our MMDVM host for it. They're sitting there on go, ready to go. So I'm going to go over here. I've got the repeater reprogrammed, and I'm just going to plug the network cable in, and you should see it pop up when the repeater registers on the right, and then the left side will show registering with the master. Okay, I just plugged the network cable in. Give it a second. Bam. There you go. So you saw on the right side is where the Hytera repeater came in. It's got my call sign, frequency, all that good stuff over there. Even has a stupid serial number on it. How about that? And now on the left side, you can see sending authorization, and it's logged into my HB Link master successfully. So now let me get the HT. Okay. So when I key the HT up, all right, you see the traffic on the right side. Went out on time slot 2. Down at the bottom. Now, locally, I have it set to talk group 2. That's why you see that on the right side. But I've got that mapped in my master server to go out to 311.342, which is our cluster right now. And I could hear it in the background, keying up my analog repeater and my DMR repeater. So there you go. I'll do it one more time. And there you go. That is talking through my personal server and across Brandmeister at the same time. So there you have it. Have fun with it, and good luck with the rules. They're really fun, but I'm sure you'll get it figured out. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching.